What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's having a great day today. Whenever you're watching this, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to make this quick video for you guys just to kind of, explain myself, really. I went away for quite a while. Obviously, there hasn't really been anything going on this channel for a good probably 6 to 8 months at this point, and I just kind of wanted to, let everybody know what's been going on, why I left, and why I chose now to come back. Some of you already know what's been going on. Those of you who I've obviously been keeping into personal contact with over the last 6 months know what's been going on. So it basically just boils down to this. Before I actually say anything, I do want to say this. This is not going to be any kind of bashing for anybody. This isn't, there's no negativity, there's no bad feelings, there's no anything, at least on my end, obviously. I'm just going to tell you guys exactly what happened. I'm just going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you how I felt, and I'm going to just tell you the facts. But definitely there is, do not think anything negatively of the companies or the people involved, although the people involved I won't name, obviously, just to keep things orderly and private. But, again, there's no bashing here. There's not going to be anything said that's going to, out anybody or say that anybody's no good or that a company's no good or anything like that. That's not the goal of this. The goal is just to kind of tell you guys what happened and to give you guys the facts. So, with that, let's get into it a little bit. So, for the last, I'll say about 10 months, maybe a little bit less at this point, I have been employed. I've been a manager at 7-Eleven. And 7-Eleven, obviously, is a popular convenience store and gas station all around the country here in the United States. And, it was really, really good in a lot of aspects. It certainly helped pay my bills. It was it kept us financially stable. The company really is a good company to work for. They do their best to take care of you. But there were a lot of things about it that just ended up not being what I needed and what my family needed. So basically just kind of here's the short version of what happened. So I obviously started back in February or March. I started my training. Training was okay. I didn't really necessarily feel like everything was going the way I needed it to go. But quite frankly, that's all right. Not everything is going to be perfect. Not everything is going to be exactly where you need it to be. But it was fine. And I didn't expect anything crazy to happen during that training. I didn't expect to, be kind of run around. I didn't get a lot of red flags. But granted, maybe I just wasn't looking. And then I eventually ended up getting my own store. I ended up getting my own store really close to the house. I ended up, basically just being put in charge of the day-to-day process of this store. And right away, from day number one, it was really, really difficult. And, when you step into management, when you step into leadership, you obviously expect things to be difficult. You expect things to really not go your way a lot of times. You expect there to be hardships. But the thing that I was not prepared for, the thing that I was not ready for was the mental toll that it took on me, that it took on my family, that it took on, all the people that loved and supported me, the toll that it took on this channel. And so long story short, quite frankly, guys, is I was working so much and working so hard that everything else in my life that I was doing just fell by the wayside completely. And, at a certain point, you just kind of have to sit there and you got to try to survive. And that's really what it felt like. And again, this has nothing to do with the company or the people that were in charge of me. My boss is and was fantastic. He was always there when I needed him. He supported me when I needed support and gave me tough love when I needed it too. So, there's nothing to say about him that's bad. He certainly was fantastic, and I loved my customers, and I loved my team. My team, while obviously when you're a new person coming into leadership, there's obviously going to be hardships, there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be things that people don't like about you and that you don't like about the people that you're working with. But at a certain point, we became a family, and we really did. And it was wonderful to kind of be a part of that. The problem is that 7-Eleven, the reason why it's called that is because at a certain, when it was created, it was open at 7 a.m. and closed at 11 p.m. Well, unfortunately now, that is not the case anymore. They are a 24/7 business, or at least the vast majority of the stores are at this point. So I was in charge of a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week business. And, that's really difficult because there's not a second in your life that you are not a manager. There's not a second in your life where you're not, in charge of something. And you know what? I'll say this. A lot of people can handle that. A lot of people, they're totally good with that. Their management style is conducive to that. Me personally, I learned that I'm not. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't for me, and my boss agreed after a while. And basically, what has happened now after a little while is my store actually ended up shutting down. And the reason that the store ended up shutting down is just because it had really been losing money for a lot of years. We had another convenience store literally right across the street. We kind of were set really far back on the road, trees covering us on both sides. The sign was really difficult to see. Things were going well for us. We were starting to really get the hang of it. We were starting to really get, a new third shifter in there. And that was really another major issue that we had, was getting people to work overnights was really tough. I think in the 8 or 10 months that I worked there, we probably went through 25 or 30 people just on that shift. It was pretty brutal, but nonetheless, I felt like we were finally starting to hit a groove. And then, my boss asked to talk to me outside and ended up giving me the news that they were closing down my store permanently. And they gave me the option to either continue with the company or to take that chance and walk away on good terms with everyone. And I took the chance to walk away because, again, it just wasn't for me. And again, nothing bad to say about the company itself, nothing bad to say about the boss, nothing bad to say about anybody, really. There's no individual that I have any bad blood towards at all. I don't even have bad blood towards 7-Eleven. It just, the business itself was not for me. And that's okay. I wanted to do something. I wanted to get into leadership. And I felt like I did a good job. But it just wasn't for me long term. Long term, it was not going to work out for my mental health. So I ended up just taking that chance to leave. And I left on good terms with everybody. I know that if I did ever want to come back, I would be invited back. But, we'll see how life goes. But for now, that chapter in my life is over. And what that means right now is obviously I have a lot more free time to do my podcast again and to do this again. And I'm really excited because I think that last time it was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants and seeing what happened, kind of figuring out what I was good at, what I wasn't. And I'm very, very grateful right now that I am given the second chance to kind of restart my podcast in more of a way that I want to start it. And so I have a lot of ideas of things that I want to do. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do all of them, but I'm going to really try and hammer home a lot of stuff. Very, very excited about where the direction of the podcast is going to go. Now, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of an explanation as to what I mean by that, the podcast format is going to remain mostly the same. Obviously, we're going to be talking about sports, MLB, NFL, and NBA stuff. And just kind of basically whatever it calls for. And I'm hoping that I am going to have more time to be able to put out more content than I was before, because the interviews that I was doing were wonderful, and I'd love to do them again. I'd love to continue to do them. I don't know if it's going to be an every week occurrence. I'd love to get everybody on there and do it as much as possible, but at the same time, I do have a life to live. I do have things that I need to do with my life. I am still going to get another job, which I'm hoping that I can provide more updates on as time goes along, because I do have a lead on something that's really exciting and I'm super happy about, but it's not completely finalized yet. So I don't really want to talk about it online right now until it happens, because I don't want to make a fool of myself or jinx it or anything like that. So we're going to hold off on that. But I'm hoping if that job does happen, or whatever other job that I do get that has certain parameters around it, I'm going to have more time to be able to put out more content. So I can be doing an interview hopefully once every week or every 2 weeks. Doing my podcast that's still going to be, an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the week, of stuff, depending on what's going on. I still want to talk about MLB. I still want to talk about the NFL and the NBA. I want to do all that. I want to give you guys more of my opinions, but a couple of changes that are going to be made. One, hopefully the audio quality is going to be a little bit better. I'm not really sure how this video is going to sound specifically because I haven't really done all of the changes yet. But starting with my first podcast, which I will let you guys know exactly when I'm going to be dropping my first relaunch podcast on Twitter. So follow me at Lopes Goes Last on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with that. But with that, I am not really sure, again, how this video is going to sound because I haven't implemented all that. But by the time that video were to come out, all the audio changes will be kind of ready to go. They'll be kind of ready to be heard, and hopefully it'll sound a lot better. Hopefully things will kind of sound more normalized there. Two, I'm going to be trying my hand in YouTube Shorts. I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm going to give it a shot because I feel like every bit of content that I can throw out there, there's more and more chance that I'm going to be discovered, that I'm going to be seen by more than just the local community. This is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. I love this. I love this business. I love sports. I love talking about it, and I feel like I'm good at it and I have knowledge to do it. If I do someday have the opportunity to make money doing this, it would be a dream come true. And so the more content I can produce, the higher chance there is of something breaking through, something happening where I can make this a career. So I'm going to try my hand in YouTube Shorts, so be on the lookout for those. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And there's one more thing I want your guys' opinion on, so please feel free to comment or just hit me up if you know how to contact me, on whether it's on Twitter, on Snapchat, on Facebook, or just with my personal phone number if you guys have that. Whatever it is, I want to know, because I want to say this. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I have been since I was a little kid, and I have just fallen so much back in love with the product ever since Triple H took over from Vince. There was a long time where once NXT kind of became what it is now, where I didn't want to watch anything. It just really, nothing really made me feel passionate like a fan anymore, but the product has just gotten so much better. It's certainly not perfect by any stretch, but it makes me love it again. It's made me fall back in love with it. And so I would absolutely be so happy and humbled to be able to use not only this platform, but possibly even another channel that I'm thinking about creating to talk about wrestling. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet because, quite frankly, I don't know if I'm even going to have even close to an audience for that. But if any of you guys are interested in hearing me do kind of maybe a shorter, obviously, podcast, but a similar style podcast to the Lopes Goes Last podcast, but about wrestling, I would certainly love to hear from you guys on that. Chances are, if I don't hear anything, if nobody says yes, absolutely they want that, I'm probably going to hold off on that just because, again, of time, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have to put out all this content. But if there's a good amount of people that get in contact with me that say, dude, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, I'd love to be able to listen to that, then I might toss that around and see what happens. But just let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, or any other way that you can kind of figure out a way to contact me. I'd love to hear your opinions. But for right now, that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to, again, give this video and put that out for you guys, just so you guys know what's been going on. And yeah, I'm back, and I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to get back in the swing of things and get used to doing this again. So thank you guys so much for watching. Keep an eye out for the relaunch of the podcast, and I will see you next time.